Yo, 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 you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building,
Farmer Poe, man.
And you are tuning in to Outlawed Opinions. People like these outlawed opinions, man. It just depends on what platform that they own. But
what platform?
I think the TikTok and the YouTube short people, sure. Shout out to y'all, man.
What they like about it?
I think the engagement shows that they like the conversation.
Okay.
Every once in a while, we'll get a save on a clip where I feel like one of us on the show says something in a way that hasn't been explained. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
the full context.
Yeah. Sure. But I always strongly encourage to watch the full context of our clips, because not just our clips, but anything you watching on the internet, because I can't keep up with all of the names. We've been accused of rage baiting.
Oh, we rage baiting? Nah, we don't do that. That's not close to not at all.
Well, the reason why it's impossible is because we come from a different generation where that word didn't even exist. Yeah, and I think I'm at a point now in my life where, listen, if this term didn't even, or these sayings or slogans or whatever didn't even exist,
those behaviors didn't exist for them to be a name about it.
But yeah,
we would have had a name for it back
like
then.
What is rage baiting?
If there was something, or I think what is comparable to like gaslighting? What do we say would be a word that we would have said, or description
of gaslighting? I think we would have said deflecting, or we would have said.
But gaslighting is more like you saying something to kind of like,
you're trying to coach somebody to believe something different than what they're going through. That's what gaslighting.
Get them to think that you really believe what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. Gaslighting. But even
that's called manipulation, right?
Yeah, manipulation.
Yeah. That's what we used to call it.
So basically, these are shortcuts. Yeah. Like when you walk to the store, there's a way that you walk to the store properly. You walk on the sidewalk, you crosswalk, but then there's the other way where you may cut through this alley over here.
Are you running a mile at school and it's around the track, and then you cut across the field?
Yeah, you cut across the field. Like, you know what? I'm gonna cut a couple of laps off. So I understand that. Bro, is you sneezing on the podcast?
Silent sneeze though. You saw that?
Bless you, brother.
Silent sneeze.
Bless you, brother.
Silent sneeze.
Bless you,
hear
brother.
That one.
Wow. Sneezing on the podcast.
It's a little dusty right here. So my allergies start.
But yeah, man, just but for, like I said, for viewers and people, you know what I'm saying, just please go look at the full context, because I don't know how many times I formed an opinion off of a 30-second, 1-minute clip.
Or just watch the clip multiple times.
We'll take it.
Yeah, like just watch the clip multiple times and leave comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll take that. I'm not mad at that.
Engagement is what we're asking for.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah. Anyways, man, there's an elefante in the room. I guess we got to talk about it.
Who?
Unc. Shay. Shannon Sharpe.
Nah, Skip. So that's the hot news. I guess.
It's the hot news, man. But
you listen to everything, or did you read everything?
So the story that I've read, it sounds just as crazy as every story, right? Mm-hmm. She won 50 mil. 50 mil.
Before she got to the 50 mil, she said 25 racks each cheek. So 25
million each, or 25 racks?
25 racks each cheek.
That's crazy.
Now, is that what, like, when she say each cheek, what do that mean?
I mean,
because is she getting a BBL?
Let's break it down to the people that there might be a couple people that lived under a rock.
Who was getting her a BBL?
You know what I'm saying? Let's do that, right? So Hall of Famer, very popular podcaster, also sports analyst on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, right? Three-time Super Bowl champion, has been accused of some misconduct and some form of assault with a 19-year-old woman.
Oh, you got a publicist, huh?
Yeah, a 19-year-old.
Now, the words you're using is like real professional. You said misconduct.
Yeah.
When niggas start saying shit like misconduct, I mean, they've been talking that lawyer talk.
Well, you know what it is? You know what it is, bro, is that, YouTube is like cracking down on language, bro.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
I'm
what
trying
saying,
to.
that lawyer talk. Niggas been.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what you can and can't say.
Yeah, so, by the way, we do got to talk about Stephen A. Smith kind of sharing his thoughts on it too.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, he let he let ESPN know that he was going to talk about it, and we'll get to that
on his podcast.
Yeah, on his show. But Shannon Sharpe is being he's being accused. A 19-year-old woman, white woman, who is also a OnlyFans. She's an OnlyFans employee, I guess.
Let's unpack it. We got different layers.
Okay.
We got a celebrity dealing with a OnlyFans model, which is kind of common. I guess it would be common.
A very successful OnlyFans employee. You say mom, I say employee.
A senior, close to being a senior citizen, man.
Oh, he there.
With a individual who just recently became what we would say legal.
Yeah, we still call them kids, but they're they're adult kids.
And then also we got to talk about the how he was talking, like the kind of conversations they had.
So,
like what she said to him,
and what he was saying. Well, now what I've heard,
said it to her.
What I've heard is that they cut up the audio to make it look like he was aggressive, and because he came out with a statement. Mm-hmm. He came out with a statement and he said, "Y'all gonna do whatever y'all got to do to me, and say whatever you're gonna say, but play the whole clip. Play
all the 10 minutes. Play the 10 minutes because all y'all did was play 15
Because he said, I guess they got some footage. You know what I'm saying? And he said, if you gonna play the whole thing.
But how did he know what they got?
In this day and age, man, people. For example, there's something called OnlyFans that didn't exist when we first got on social media. When the Tron grid was still blank canvas. You know what I'm saying? Now people are into like recording themselves and they do their own whole. You used to have to go to the Blockbuster or whatever to get your adult movies in the liquor store.
Blockbuster, they're all gone, so you got to go to another Blockbuster.
Yeah. Now people making their own Blockbusters. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So there could be some footage that she has. They probably had some kind of an agreement. But he said that there was some audio leak.
Or he could remember the conversation and bitch, we was talking for 10 minutes. I know it's more than that you recorded.
You said unpack the whole situation, right? Here's my thing. You have a scenario where it's very obvious based off of how Shannon Sharpe is and what this woman does for a living, what the dynamic of the relationship was.
He was paying.
Yeah.
Paying to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we know that there was no relationship on a serious magnitude because of that, right? And somewhere down the line there was a disagreement, and then there was a decision to shift it over to it being more of an aggressive situation. Now we also got
that two things could be possible at the same time in that situation.
I do.
He may have been aggressive or may have crossed the line, committed a crime, but she is also.
I think there's a strong possibility that happens more than often. But in this situation, looking at some of the facts that are present right now, Tony Buxby, right? Let's talk about him, the lawyer.
Yeah, man.
This dude goes after a lot of financially successful black men
with
the same type of allegations. This is the same lawyer that tried to get at Diddy and Jay-Z with the young woman who was also autistic, and then I think he went after somebody else. And
nah.
What's up? I had to bring that up, bro. I had to bring that up. And the reason why,
because to say that she's also autistic, it sounds like an extra type of crime. Like,
no,
like she was like, and she
the reason why I brought it up. No, I'm gonna tell you why I brought it up. I brought it up actually from a position of frustration, because I actually unfollowed a couple celebrities behind this, because what they did is they used the fact that the girl was autistic as a part of the reason why she probably fabricated her story.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
and I was just like,
oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, and I was just like, bruh, do y'all even understand how that condition works? Yeah, that's like me. Hey, that's like me suffering from severe migraines, right? And then I accuse somebody of something that they're innocent of, right? And they be like, yeah, bro, over here with the severe migraines,
nigga be getting headaches.
You be getting headaches. So how do we know these headaches didn't create lies? You know what I'm saying? Create these stories in your head of some things that really didn't happen. This is the problem I have with people that don't understand like certain things that are happen in the world every day and certain conditions that people have. So that's why I threw that out there. But this, like I said, Tony Bugsby is a dude that
I'm a hustler, baby.
And I don't think,
and I just want
has he been successful with any of these cases? Like a lot of these cases have been getting thrown out.
I'm not too caught up on Tony Bixby or Big.
But whatever you want to say, that's what it is.
I'm not too caught up on him. And from what I hear, he does have a history of he's
always representing Deshaun Watson. He was a part of that case.
Yeah, so
with the whole thing that happened with him when he was playing for the Texans.
Those type of cases he's known to go for. I'm not sure if he's successful in.
Maybe we should get him on the show, man. We might have a different
talk to him.
Thought process. I'll DM him.
We can sit him down.
Yeah, I'll DM him and see if he want to come on the show. But so we have that element of the case with Shannon Sharpe and this girl, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is he's actually brought her up before without like saying her name and stuff like that. He said he was talking on the nightcap show that he has with Ocho Cinco. Okay. And he was describing her and he was like, yeah, man, I mean, somebody, you need to go to get the OnlyFans. And she showed me a bank statement. No, listen, show me a bank statement, Poe. She showed me a bank statement. I looked at the numbers, I said, yeah. He seen her bank statement and what she makes on OnlyFans. He was like, oh, you really getting cashed out like that.
Yeah, Shannon, since he started, it started with the do-rag and the cognac and the cigar, bro.
Yeah.
That's when it started coming out. What
Miles and that yak?
Uncle Shay Shay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started when, that's when the character started.
Yeah.
And
I used to always say, but nobody was like really understand what I was trying to say. I always used to say you never seen him and Kevin Samuels in the same place.
Oh yeah, you never see him and Kevin Samuels.
I said you never see them in the same place because they look very like when Kevin Samuels was on the up and coming. They looked very similar. They both wore them black frame glasses. They both wore suits. I was like, bruh, is they the same people?
Yeah, Kev.
It was both kind of country.
Kev ain't around that type of niggas. Rest in peace to Kev.
Yeah, rest in peace to the Godfather. But yeah, so you have that element where he's actually brought her up, but then there's different stories that come out where he was like trying to like leave her alone and dodge her, and she would pop up. I guess he was in Vegas somewhere, and she was like, "Well, I'm popping up too." So he's countersuing. He did an actual statement. He did a video statement, and he basically debunked everything. Yeah. And then that kind of gave everybody like us more context to go off of as far as in the dynamic. And then Stephen A came out and he played it so safe when he talked about it. Stephen A, when he really feel like he's saying something important,
ladies and gentlemen,
he takes his time. He takes his time to say absolutely nothing because he played it safe enough to where he didn't get in trouble.
What do you have here today?
No, it was very when he get into the sad mode, like he don't really want to do this, but he been preparing for it all week, so he really wanted. Yeah, he was doing that. I've known Shannon a long time, and I brought him over.
Shannon is my friend.
Yeah.
Shannon is my friend.
Yeah, he was doing all of that. And then, okay, so let me just tell you real quick what I don't like. And I guess when you got millions of dollars on the line, that changes how you talk. But you take us, for example. We go way back in the day, right? If somebody has allegations against you, if I'm going to choose to talk about it publicly, I'm going to talk about it from a standpoint of what I believe about you and not what's going to be politically correct. Mm-hmm. If I feel like I have to be politically correct instead of actually saying how I really feel because of the history we got and the character I know you to be, if I have to do all of that, I'm just not going to speak on it at all. And I think that's what my problem was with Stephen A. Smith speaking up about it. If you're going to speak up, and this is just how I feel when I see celebrities, and if these people are really your friends, and that goes for any entertainer, any influencer, if your friends are ever in a scenario and people want to interview you about it, if you ain't going to keep it 100 about how you truly feel, just don't speak on it at all. Because you're doing your friend a disservice by saying, you know, these are allegations and I don't want to say the wrong thing. Man, forget that. Listen, if somebody come out saying something about you that I believe is not true, I'm going to say I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I'm going to say I don't believe it.
Yeah, y'all got to misconstrue.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think that, and you know, Shannon Sharpe said that. He said, yo, this is a shakedown.
Yeah.
This is a shakedown. Yeah. Now that we got a little bit of details out there, you heard some of the audio, right? When he was talking to old girl, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Even me as someone who's obviously not a celebrity,
right?
I've even imagined and been super careful, even without these scenarios happen, on just even saying something crazy through text message or sending some type of message. Like, there's no way that shit can't get saved. So, like, that type of conversation of those, I'm gonna choke you, like, I don't know. That sounded crazy, and the way they might have doctored it up made it sound like
I think there's a possibility that he was sounding like that they was having a different conversation.
Yeah.
They was having that they was having that phone sex conversation, and she's recording everything, which I don't know what state that they're in, but I know you can't really record people without their consent.
Audio. You can't record audio, and when basically what it happens is if there's an expectation of privacy, the audio, it has to be consensual. So I can't just pull out a recorder in your house when you have an expectation of privacy and record you.
Right.
If it's a public space, then yes.
Yeah, it's free game at that point.
Game.
Yeah,
but there has to be an expectation of privacy.
Right. So you got that. And then, like I said, me being somebody...
But it don't matter because this is a civil case and this is about a court of public opinion, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst part. That's the worst part about a lot of these cases is a lot of them be civil cases, and the court of public opinion, man, it sways. I feel like the court of public opinion sways actual court proceedings sometimes.
A lot.
Because it's like, man, we don't want to get heat from the public if we make the wrong decision. It's weird. It's a weird time that we live in right now, right?
Yeah, and what he was saying to her.
He was saying some aggressive stuff.
Maybe this is how she might have got him too, though. Is that she might have got him by like somehow like saying, I like to be talked to like this. This is how I like to talk.
See, I was chilling.
Catch him into the motion of normally doing that and just talking like that.
Oh, I was chilling, bro.
Got you.
I was chilling. I was trying to wait to go past. Oh, so look, so we already here. So there's stereotypes, right, within cultures, right? And I'm going to say something that's really controversial, and I'm not saying it's 100% one way or the other. But we know that certain cultures, even from what we've seen in movies and influence, you know, some people like to role play. And some of those type of women are into role playing. Role playing don't always start in a bedroom. Role playing could start when one person is at home, the other person is at work. They get to texting, they get to talking. You know, everybody does they deed the way they want to do it, you know, and they add that element to it for excitement, right? And my thing is, me having a music background and me being able to cut up audio very well, it just seemed like, and I could be wrong, bro, because I don't have all of the facts. I don't have the information right in front of me, but it just seemed like what he was saying and the tone and magnitude he was saying it in, and then how she was responding, as calm, cool, collective as how she was responding, it's like it doesn't match, right?
Yeah.
The engagement in the conversation didn't match.
Now that you're saying that, then if that was something that he or she was into, then there would have been some reciprocation on the tone and all that.
Right.
Her responses sounded like somebody who was being threatened,
Mm-hmm.
but was trying to remain calm or not trying to antagonize or cause any more emotional, I guess, responses in the conversation.
Exactly.
So now that you're saying that, it's like, yeah, that's why when I heard it, that's what I heard. I was like, And he said, you hurt me. You shouldn't hurt me. So it's like, you might have did something. You might have grabbed her or choked her. She might say choked and you grabbed around her chest.
Right.
Whatever it was, something happened.
Well, for starters, we know it wasn't Michelle from the leaked live he dropped earlier this year.
That was the chick that was, her name was Michelle?
Yeah, so it wasn't Michelle.
Okay.
And, obviously he didn't do that to Michelle, but he did that to... Now, here's my thing, bro. Let me ask you a question real quick, because this is a question that I feel like the majority of us that have cell phones or access to a phone experience this. Mm-hmm. When a number calls your phone that you're not really familiar with, you either ignore it or you pick up, and when it's some BS, you hang up, right? Mm-hmm. So like telemarketers, you hang up. Even if it's somebody that let's say somebody you really have like bad blood with, and they think it's good to call your phone, you hang up, right? What I don't understand in this instance is if you felt threatened and you felt bothered, and why sit on the phone and just continue to have a conversation?
The chick?
Yeah.
Some people think that pleading sometimes or
from the phone
or being docile. If they hang up or they don't try to make this person, it's like a person who got kidnapped, and the kidnapper tells them to get in the trunk or put the handcuffs on. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, well, once you do that, your hands are tied, right? So some people might, out of fear, feel like if they actually hang up or like try to dismiss this person,
that there's going to be repercussions later. Okay. So, as true as that is, historically, right? Mm-hmm. Culturally, right? On both sides, there's a pretty clear understanding and indication. I mean, even the creation of what a Karen is, right? And the backstory behind that, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think, for 1 minute, that these young white girls are not aware of how protected they can be in circumstances like this?
I'm pretty sure there's some that are not aware, some that are, some that don't believe in it at all.
Fair. Very fair, right?
Yeah.
Here's my second question. How aware do you think those same women that may not be aware of how protected they are, how much of a protected group they are, how much of them do you think are aware of how serious it is when it comes to black men in police encounters involving them being a threat to society or to an individual? How dangerous and how proactive police officers are with black men, especially black men that look like Shannon Sharpe.
Start from the top of your question again.
How many of those same women that may not be privy to how protected they are aware that we are basically black men are we don't have a good relationship with law enforcement. We don't have we don't really have that much rope when it comes to yo, you
That's
wow.
A lot of rope.
Wow.
It's a lot of rope.
When I say rope, I mean like some leniency when it comes to police authority, right?
My bad.
You know what I'm saying?
Land your plane. Go
ahead. No, I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
They used a lot of rope.
You didn't lie. You didn't. I'm not saying you lying, brother. I'm not saying you lying. But how many of those women are aware that we do not have the best relationship with law enforcement and police, innocent or not? That same group of women. Do you think they're not? Do you think that when women get in these predicaments,
non-black women?
Well, we could say non-black women, but we're talking about the most protected group of women.
White women.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
I I think they know very much well more than many other groups.
Cool. So and these are just.
I want to give my reason for that.
Okay. Cool. Go for it.
I was
Go
kind
for
of
it.
like, well, who weaponizes the police against black men more than
Anybody else?
I mean, I can't say more than, but who is historically known for weaponizing police
Or authority
against black men, and what is the reason that we came up with the term Karen, and what are these situations surrounding that term being used, Karen?
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say that white women very well know the relationship that we have with the police.
I think what you said is factual, but I also think you were being very nice about the way you put it. Because you said the police. I'll say authority in general.
Oh, you mean authority? Oh, well, yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? No. I'm not saying that you're not wrong at all.
In the workplace.
In the workplace, in school.
In schools.
Yeah, grocery stores and,
places of human activity.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, but it's all surrounding the same. Yeah, I mean, for sure.
So knowing those two things, right?
The building managers and all that.
Knowing those two things.
I mean, I know two things.
I just...
One thing for sure and two things for certain.
For certain, yeah. But understanding all of that information is why, even though you said two things can be true at the same time, I just feel like one is more true than the other.
Yeah, for sure. You could give it like 75-25. It's still...
I would say like...
No,
85, 15.
I'm just saying, those are an example of percentages. It's like...
I feel like it's 85, 15.
This shit like 35% true, and this shit right here 65% true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And give or take a few percentages.
Now, you know what? I'm curious to see what's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure there's been some influencers and people talking about it, right? I'm wondering, are we going to see another scenario where in about a few more weeks, another woman comes forward and another woman comes forward? Because, it's always one at first.
That's when you smell, that's when it's the end. When that's when they come in to clean you up.
Yeah.
Those are the cleanup pictures.
Right.
Like when it's the original, then they see how, okay, we're gonna keep the same picture in the whole game. We're gonna keep them in, or is we gotta bring the closers in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta bring the closers in. They coming for your ass.
Yeah.
They got plenty of closers.
Mm-hmm.
And they you see how they did Bill. You see how they do a lot of them.
Yeah.
Damn near anybody. They got a lineup ready. It's like the Warriors when niggas had they lineup.
Yeah.
And then
they bench had depth.
Tired, and then you look at the Warriors bench, you like, man, hold up. That look like a starting five. It's like, that's how they got it.
We come and clean up, man.
Yeah.
So we have all of this information, right? There's two things, man. Number one, what do you believe?
In God. His Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
So do you believe this is a shakedown, or do you believe that this young lady is really, really trying to seek some kind of justice?
Sure, I think it could be both.
You think so?
It could be both.
Could be both.
It could be, man, it was a minor situation or a certain type of way.
Oh, it's definitely a minor situation for sure.
Or she threatened his ass, and he didn't believe her, or he did, or didn't give a fuck, or he could have really did some shit, or
right.
Just because it's a one-time off don't mean that a person don't have history, but I would imagine some men exhibit a history of certain types of behavior. And if we got to see if Shannon always been a smooth, cool dude with the women, then why is it that this particular woman has these allegations?
Well, you got to remember.
Or do we got other women who's saying that because they're been on the same type of time?
Well, you also got to remember something about our culture. Our culture has been very, very, very very critical of brother Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah, what do you mean his sexuality?
Yeah. So I think that's interesting to, look at it from a scale where, like, even within his own community, people have questioned his sexuality, and then here we are, we have a scenario. Well, it's kind of interesting. Ever since they've been questioning his sexuality, all of a sudden you accidentally get on live, which I still to this day don't know how you accidentally get on live.
I've been trying to get on live on accident.
Right. And then on top of that, now you have this case, you know what I'm saying, where
you could get on live on accident.
You
could do that.
Yeah.
You could do it on accident. Now, it's certain things that we all do on accident.
Yeah.
Like, what's the common accident thing?
Accidentally call somebody.
Accidentally calling.
Yeah.
Accidentally taking a screenshot.
Yeah. Or accidentally like moving your apps around because you press the app button.
You press the app button.
Yeah.
Accidentally. It's never really an accidental.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about accidents. When I was a kid, I called 911. Right? And I called 911 and I immediately hung up. Right? And the police came, stuff like that. My dad was like, hey, nah, kids, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Police left. Dad called me. What you call 911 for? I was like, oh, it was an accident. I had knocked something over and it had pressed 911. I'm like, genius.
That's the one you used?
Hey, I was like, genius, right?
Hold up. You know why? You used a dial-up phone.
Well, this is a landline, obviously.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It didn't have
guess
no
what?
touch screen.
But I thought I had outsmarted my dad. And my dad said, you know what my dad said? He said, yeah, but where the 9 is on the dialing pad and where the 1 is, ain't no accidents.
Yeah. The distance between it is
so the crazy thing about this situation is I got my ass whooped. And I really did need 911 after that.
You already used up your 911?
And I already used it.
You already used it
I used my lifeline.
You used your lifeline.
I used my lifeline, man. So
you learned a lesson that day.
Yeah, I did. You can never doubt it ever again.
They say, you know what I'm saying, in school you get learn a lesson and then you get tested.
Yeah.
And in life,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy. So, so when we talk about accidents, those are common accidents right there, like you said. Yeah, I just think that it's kind of ironic. This is kind of ironic with Shannon Sharpe. He had these allegations against him about his sexuality, and here we are. Obviously, that's not an issue now.
Ooh.
Yeah. What's up? I feel like the light bulb just went off, man.
All right, we're gonna go down the conspiracy. We're gonna create a conspiracy theory right now.
Okay, go for it.
Just for the fun of it.
All right, go for it. What you got?
Right. Shannon Sharpe already paid the bag.
So it's funny you say that because there was a couple of reports saying that he tried to settle for $10 million.
Nah, but ain't no settling. He paid the bag.
Okay.
Nah, never mind. I was gonna say he paid the bag so that this story could come out, but that's gonna ruin other deals and you're gonna lose money. So I'm thinking he trying to pay the bag. Hey, say this.
Okay, there's something that I want to do real quick because we gonna take our time with this conversation. We're gonna take our time with this conversation because there's a pattern going on here, right? Who was the last person, let's say in his category, to get accused by a white woman of inappropriate behavior, misconduct, or some form of assault? Who's the last person that comes to mind in this situation?
Like an athlete?
An athlete and somebody in his age range.
Russell Wilson? No, hell no. My bad.
Yo. the least likely?
I meant when I said Russell.
This is somebody from his era too. Somebody from Shannon Sharpe's era. And when I bring it up to you, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I forgot about this person.
I don't remember.
Michael Irvin.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Years ago.
Do you remember that camera footage when they were at the hotel and people wanted to take pictures with him, and there was a particular white woman that was there, and you could see in the camera, the footage, how short the interaction was, and she brought up these allegations towards him, and remember they made him step down and everything, and then when everything was said and done, it was false, but the real damage was done to his reputation and things of that nature. I think he's still doing sports analyst stuff here and there, but I don't see him as much.
Yeah.
But I don't see him as much as I did prior to that happening.
Yeah.
So here's my question. With all of these brothers that are successful, that make all of this money, young and old, what are they doing wrong, and how do they need to maneuver? How much more cautious do they need to be dealing with not only certain women, but just women in general. Because I'm going to give you another example of somebody that was banned from TV from somebody taking a comment he said out of context.
In the Michael Irving situation, I don't know, because that situation, she tried to use a momentary interaction as validity for a situation like that happening. So you can't really avoid that, because you can't avoid who you interact with on a
or who's going to be around you.
Who's going to be around you necessarily.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, y'all just remember what it was like in the 90s, man. Just remember.
Mm-hmm.
Just revert back. Just think like you didn't want to be having no evidence or nothing. Mm-hmm. You didn't allow for evidence or nothing. And you just didn't.
Allow for evidence is diabolical.
Allow for evidence. We don't allow for evidence. We get rid of it. But no, it's just like, imagine that there's a possibility that this could be used in a way to diminish my character, used as blackmail. You don't have to say everything in a text or on the phone or whatever.
No, you really don't. Now, with that being said, bro,
FaceTime everything, because now if you start recording or something,
you let the person know. It'll let the person know if you screenshot on FaceTime.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Snapchat.
Yeah, that's how they need to be.
It's an app that you could get on.
So
it's an app out there for everything.
So with understanding that, because that is a true statement, like you just can't avoid all of these different things. I do think there's one way you can avoid it. You gotta double down on security. Like if you have like 2 or 3 bodyguards with you all the time, where it's like, nope, move,
just get a body cam. Watch, I guarantee you,
a body cam is correct.
People are gonna have. I guarantee you, everybody's already podcasting. People are walking around with cameras and stuff all the time. People are going to start having their own body cams, and they already do it in their cars.
Right. So let me ask you this, bro. How do you feel about people making it? Because we already talked about the history between the black man and the white woman and all this other stuff. But there are those people, and some of them are sisters, that are going to the scenario of like, see, you messing around with them white girls and this, that, and the other. The first thing that I thought about personally, and you can give your context to it, is, yeah, there are scenarios, but there are plenty of sisters that will blow the same whistle and say that he did this, he did that, and he never did. So why, like, so when we bring the race card into it, I'm just curious, when brothers and sisters say that's when you mess with it, because Mike Tyson went through that in the 90s with Robin Givens, right? And then there's countless other scenarios where men were accused, of them doing certain things to women, and
that's just a trauma response. We can't differentiate whether it's because of one thing or the other, because like the person who's on the outside can't necessarily differentiate. Sometimes the person on the inside can't, whether or not this has to do with a prejudice or not. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't. So
okay, we rapping.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Well, what I think is funny is if we watch this. Don't get mad at me, y'all. All right. So if we're gonna play that game, and we're gonna say like, all right, well, if he was with a sister, he was dealing with sisters, that wouldn't have happened. Well, Jay-Z, he got beat up on in the elevator, and so did Bow Wow, and both of them,
same girl.
No, but there was both sisters. There was both sisters that did it, right? The Safari situation that happened with Erica Mena, where there was footage in the house where how she was wilding out.
She's an honorary sister.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just giving examples
of women.
I'm giving examples of women, but it just so happened that the first 2 were black women, right? And
sure.
and to be fair, there's proof of certain men that did things like when Ray Rice was doing what he did. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But I just don't like the hyper focusing on one group as if no other group does what that one group does. I think it's a mixture. And then you have scenarios like Jonathan Majors, who's running from the situation, and he was still found guilty. Did you ever look at what his charges was? He wasn't guilty of intentionally doing it, but he was guilty of doing it. It was some weird charge where it was like you're not a.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
That nigga was running like he was a runaway slave.
Right. And you can't win for losing. Right? So I thought that was interesting, but when I asked you that question about like what can you do, and you basically gave, I mean, that's a lot of truth. It's not a whole lot you can do to stop it, but I just think we do live in a time where either you're just gonna have to be damn near like a hermit, or not have really any engagement, or
do better,
or do what you said. You have to walk around with 24/7 surveillance,
or do better. Just imagine that you are being watched, or could
not imagine. Remember. Ooh. Remember.
Shouts out to you.
You already know, bruh.
You know who you are.
Remember.
Yeah, I brought that up to him not too long ago about the song.
Oh, we're going to make sure he remember.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So was Cat Williams and Monique right about what they was trying to tell Shannon Sharpe the times they were on his show? Because you remember Monique was like, you need to just settle down, go get you a sister that's gonna rub your feet, somebody you can come home to. Because if he had to,
he played himself though.
Yeah,
you too old to be trying to mess with these young whippersnappers. They out here hungry and they getting to it.
Yes, they're successfully making this happen.
And I really honestly it sucks. Do we blame them too much?
Well, yes, we blame them, of course, because if I was in that scenario and I was worth $100 million or 150 and somebody was trying to destroy my life and my character, yes, I can blame you. But at the same time,
I think we hold each other to a certain, like, we shame each other for certain types of behavior.
Yeah, we do. And you've always said that on the show, that's what's missing in today's climate is shame, because shame kept you from not making certain decisions.
And it's like we got to use that.
What I do think is
a damn shame.
What I do think is weird, though, is I think it's weird how comfortable so many entertainers or so many financially successful people are with that dating gap that they're doing. Like, you messing with somebody that's 19 and you in your 50s. And the same thing goes for some of these women that are dating these young athletes. You know, like the Dreas, you know, she has a baby by a dude that's the same age as her oldest kid.
That's crazy.
So I just think the time that we came up in and everything that we've seen, I think it's really strange that people are so comfortable and open with doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's not illegal, but morally it's illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Morally, it's illegal.
We don't have moral court. Like, what are the charges for bringing somebody to moral court, and like what are the sentences? Or you could go with one or the other.
Well, the charges are, depending on what the behavior is, will determine the charges are.
Okay, let's talk about like Kanye.
So in the court of public opinion, he's just, I say this with air quotes. I say this with air quotes. His charges are offense. He's being offensive.
No. We pass all that. Fuck everything he done did up until this point.
What?
That song he dropped.
Bro, yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everything else, we can throw that all out the window. What the is your man talking about? What is he doing? What is your man? What excuse do y'all have for your man now? What is it? Because he's admitting to crimes.
Well, is he?
He was the older cousin, nigga. He wasn't the same age. He was the older cousin.
I don't know, man. What do you think what do you think he's trying to convey?
Is there a way? Is there anything like?
Well, listen, all of the antics.
Is there? You know when you got some shit that's be like.
Listen, all of the antics. Listen, all of the antics. All of Kanye West's antics. What was he trying to convey with this older cousin?
That he's his cousin that's in prison for murder. He's one of the reasons why his cousin probably committed a murder.
So that's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
Why is you telling us this?
What exactly did Kanye say?
I didn't listen to that shit, man. That shit, my phone would have blew up. I got kids and shit, man. They would have called me from the school district.
Because we got listeners, so we got to be transparent. So Kanye West,
he was being transparent enough.
Kanye West has a song that was leaked where he was explaining that him and a cousin were doing certain acts that men will get their man card taken away if they openly admitted that.
Some shit you were supposed to be the recipient of, you was giveth.
Yeah.
You giveth what you taketh. Is that what
you talking about? That rap battle? Rex was the one giving it, Mook was the one taking it.
Whoa.
You remember? You don't remember that line?
I think, yeah, but that was crazy.
Yeah, that's a real battle rap. That's a real battle rap line.
I remember,
and it was used in that context. Yeah. It was used in that context because they had a song together, right? Where somebody was stealing something and the other person was, but it didn't work out too well in the rap battle when they brought it up.
Yeah, your man, he's. Yeah.
I think, but you made this whole public opinion court piece right now, so I would say that his charge would be in public opinion offense.
Yeah,
and the charge, the punishment would normally be cancel, but I don't think you can cancel the dude. I don't think you can cancel Kanye West.
Moral court that I'm bringing him up on charges of too much information.
TMI.
Too much charges? Information is the charges I'm bringing him up on.
TMI charges.
And
okay.
The sentence for that can carry anywhere between not fucking with you.
Everybody
not
listen.
Fucking with you at all.
The reason why I don't think Kanye West can be canceled is because everybody has said that he's canceled, but then he does something that he's never done before that causes people to do what we're doing right now. Talk about it.
Like,
but usually when we say that,
with you at all.
Yeah, when we say that though, we mean that we ain't even gonna bring you up in a conversation.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with Kanye. I don't fuck with that nigga at all. Like, it's just difference. Like, you see what I'm saying? The sentence can carry anywhere between.
No, I'm laughing because the way that you confirmed it with yourself.
Yeah,
you was like, I ain't fucking with him. I ain't fucking with him at all.
Yeah, that's how you gotta say it so a nigga understand the sentences that's on the table. I ain't fucking with Kanye. I ain't fucking with him at all. Like, that's how you gotta say it so niggas understand. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's wild, bro. But all I know, man, is for a long time I've been seeing a lot of our black men in these predicaments, in these circumstances where it's just like nobody else is going out bad like this. It's just the black men. And I know that that's not true. I just think that in entertainment space, with a space that we've been dominant in, we're under a microscope, and any little thing that we do is gonna be.
I feel like 2025, I ain't gonna lie, it's been kind of quiet.
What?
This is what I mean. Even with
because we're hungry and we don't have enough money and food.
Nah.
Yeah, it is quiet.
Even with Trump in office, right? It's shit going on, but it's not like it was
5 years ago.
Nigga, what?
Bruh.
Everything is calmer. The way and the energy
You're
is
crazy.
calmer.
No, it's not. Nigga. First of all, it wasn't calmer.
I done checked out then.
First of all, it wasn't. Because 5 years ago, everybody was locked up. Everybody was on death row records.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Everybody was on death row records, and everybody owed Suge Knight 99 albums.
But that's why I felt like the normalcy. It started with 2019.
Yeah.
2020. Then we get 2021. It's more of the same. 2022, more of the same. Niggas didn't get back to work till 2023. Damn near 2022.
Well, you talking about the people that got to telework. I was always at work.
Working man. I was at the house for some years. Yeah. And the normalcy of like it was crazy. Every time you turn on the news, Trump saying some shit.
Well, yeah, at that time,
it's all kind of shit going on.
People like y'all that was like working from home and stuff. It was like looking in through the blinds. Like, man, it's crazy out there, man.
It was crazy.
It's crazy out there. I seen a baby driving a camper. You know what I'm saying?
It was talking in the grocery store of how close you stand.
Yeah, how close you. Now people is hugging in line. Don't even know each other.
They're back to it. So what I'm saying is, even last year it was a little crazy,
bro. It's crazy now. Like,
oh yeah, I don't check out.
The reason why I say that is we can go right into it. Like, China is not playing.
Oh, I heard. I ain't seen it yet.
China's not playing. These designers or these manufacturers are like, yeah, we're gonna spill the beans on how much this stuff is really worth that y'all spend thousands of dollars on, right?
They exposing shit.
Exposing it.
Nigga, I'll expose you. That's the time.
Y'all pay $5,000 for this. We made this for $30.
But guess what? I don't think China know the power that the American
influence.
What's that word that they use? Consumerism. How strong and how much of a foundation that has on the American people. Americans already kind of been damn near knew that shit. Motherfuckers don't care. Now, people's just gonna keep buying both. Motherfuckers gonna buy the fake shit and the real shit. Cause niggas been walking down
I'm not, listen, they're both the same.
Yeah, they both the same. Y'all just made it without permission. Some niggas made it with permission.
And Jelani's explained that plenty of times.
I told you, I just bought some replicas, nigga.
Yeah.
We're gonna see how hot
what replicas did you buy? Were they shoes? Like, you have to say the brand. Was it shoes? Was it a bag? Okay.
Shoes. I'm not paying $200-$300 for shoes and all that. You know, I don't even buy shoes no more like that. Yeah. Every once in a while.
You usually come here barefooted when we record.
Right? You have to tell the people, man.
Yeah, man.
You don't have to tell them that.
You said, yeah, man, these feet by Nike, bro. Been killing this, man.
Wipe your feet off before you come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I bought some replicas because it's one, I want to see how good of quality they are, and two is like I kind of like that shoe, but I'm not about to pay the extra. And if they don't last, it was like a bill to pay.
So what does that do for, like? Because we was talking about this before we started recording. What does that do for, like, that flex culture? You know, when you hear rap songs, when you hear, I said hip hop earlier, but when you hear rap songs and you hear, like, yeah, man, I just spent $900 on these, man. You broke.
That
like,
shit might be dead. That shit,
because now it don't hold the same weight.
It don't. Niggas is walking around and don't give a fuck about having dirty shoes on no more.
Yeah.
These youngsters don't give a fuck about none of that. It's about, are you
I feel like
individual.
I feel like it's more it's a popularity thing. Does your name ring when you show up?
Yeah. Are you somebody that people know from social media because you're an influencer? Yeah, all that shit dead, man. The 990, like, these youngsters going and getting shirts from the 2000s, and you know what I'm saying?
They thrifting.
They going to get shit. They don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
It's only a select few people. And then what they do is they mix up pieces. Like, they might have went and got the expensive one thing that they like from the name brand, and they just mixing it up with all this other shit that they just bought for a couple of dollars.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the name of the game now. It's not about really the brand itself no more and how much money it costs. It's really about the fashion of it, I guess. It's more appreciation for some fashion, but it's, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's weird.
We're in a different time where there's a melting pot of all these different types of subgenres.
All I know is it's almost impossible to call somebody's designer fake at this point if it's literally the same material.
I mean, you watch the little shoe shit where they be doing like the eBay, they flip the shoe and oh, this is a fake, bro. And I'll be like, nigga, give me the motherfuckers for $100.
Well, my thing is, here's you made a really good point, right? If you got to do all of that to even see if something is real or fake, you're not going to be able to do that to somebody that you think potentially has something fake on. You're not going to be like, here, hand me your jacket. Let me check the tag. Let me see the pockets. You got the receipt? You're just going to have an assumption based off of what you think about that individual. So either way, whether you wear something fake or not, that's quote unquote designer, you're never going to really know.
To me, fake is no more such, it's like fake is out of here. What is the quality?
Yeah.
Because fake means something like cheap. Cheap means low quality.
That's another thing.
It's not no more like it's a sweater I bought. And it's a company that I buy stuff from.
Uh-huh.
And what they do is they take ideas from things that might be popular in designer culture, and they make
their own little spin on it. Okay. That's what they all do to each other.
Quality
anyway.
is great. It's not cheap. It's not sheen. It's not hella expensive. It's really affordable, but it's the same type of quality, and the look is similar to where somebody was like, "Hey, is this the Margiela sweater?" And I was like, "Nah, this from the other company." They're like, "Oh,
it's a Mark Jackson sweater."
Yeah, Mark Lamont Johnson. Yeah.
Look, dog, it was something that Jelani said a while back, and I don't know. I think we probably talked about it on a Boss Talk, or it might have been like a full cast episode, right? Where he was saying in the sneaker industry, there are a lot of unauthorized and fakes that are made. He said, but here the coldest part is sometimes the fakes would be better quality material than the real version, and that's how you were able to tell which one was the real version or not. Imagine that, though. Imagine somebody has a Porsche, right? And you have a knockoff Porsche, but everything that your knockoff was built with has way more quality, better fiberglass, better, engine, transmission, and everything than the real Porsche. And yours is considered the fake.
Right.
Just because of where it was made and if it was authorized or not. It takes the power away from branding.
Yeah, because like shit back in the day when you would get some fake Bapes or some fake, Jordans, you could tell the quality wasn't always there, but they still lasted damn near. It wasn't like
they were still durable and
it wasn't like they falling apart.
Yeah.
Fast forward 20-something years later, bruh.
They've gotten so much better.
You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't care because the shoe to me, honestly, is the last thing I even give a fuck about.
Well, in all actuality, when somebody's trying to examine if something is real or not, like you're only doing it in that moment of time. When people are meeting up and socializing and stuff like that, nobody's over analyzing anything that anybody's wearing unless it stands out.
Unless you got a colorway, nigga.
And they like,
you got some 11s that got a fucking yellow top and a black leather.
The man came out
with the blue bottoms. Niggas gonna be like, my nigga, did you paint them or did you like?
Are them custom?
Yeah, them gotta be custom.
See, even me, I get a benefit of that, but they custom.
Them customs clean. No, I bought them like this. Oh yeah, for sure.
You didn't get them from Michael.
Yeah, I mean, you might have got them from Michael's.
You didn't get them from Michael. You probably got them from Larry Jordan. You didn't get them from Michael. But man, look, before we get up out of here, your man, since we was talking about 45, 47, your man 45, 47 did something.
Big T.
He did something for the HBCUs. What did he do for the HBCUs, brother?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know very much about it. It's an executive order that he signed. It's an initiative for
them to get more funding, right?
HBCUs. Apparently, from what I've read, though, also not too extensively, is that this is not anything different than what Biden administration did as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm not sure if they followed through on the order or the initiative, but that's the extent of what I know. It's to help support HBCUs in different ways, I guess, through funding, through lawmaking, or things of that nature. I'm not too privy on everything.
Now, there's a couple contradictions I have personally with this. Now, before I even get into the contradictions, I wanted to ask you, do you think there's a hidden agenda behind it? Do you think there's, it's a hidden agenda? You don't have to say what that hidden agenda is, but do you think there's a smoke screen with doing this? Do you think this is a reputation thing? Because, even though there's a lot of black people that voted for Trump, there's a lot of black people that are disagreeing with how his administration is being ran and some of the decisions they're making, right? But do you think this is just a genuine, hey, this is a part of everyday tasks that we got to do for colleges and this, that, and the third? Do you think it's that, or do you think there's really, really some true concern with trying to help, the HBCUs and making sure that they have all the resources that they need to continue to produce smart, young, bright African-American students to the workforce?
I don't know enough to say yes or no.
Not just about the order, but just about how he's been moving.
How he presented it?
Well, just how he's been moving. When you look at the certain things that his administration has been doing, it's almost contradicting a little bit to do what he wants to do with HBCUs.
Yeah, that one's a little difficult for me because I don't really know enough. I just know what is being presented as.
And I'm asking because you're in the education. You know what I'm saying? You're in the education field, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know that one. I thought that initially too. Like, what is the reason that you are signing this order for? If you have like have views on higher education and things of that nature, but I don't know enough about any of his particular views or feelings towards HBCUs or education to like. I don't want to come off and say it's just based on what I've seen other people say.
Okay.
So that's a difficult one. I want to do my research on that.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
What I'll say is it's a little contradicting to me because of the attempt and the efforts to get rid of affirmative action, get rid of DEI, say that you're going to block federal funding for schools that teach about, early American history as far as slavery and Jim Crow and civil rights and things like that, right? And then, the drama behind, I think some of Jackie Robinson's history was removed from the website temporarily, but then it was restored there. So it's been all of these different moves where a lot of black people have been feeling like our history and our place in this country is being tampered with and erased, right? And then you turn around and you want to donate to HBCUs, which were founded on having a place for black people because of segregation and not being included and being able to make a way for ourselves. So it's almost like, what's the play here? That was my interpretation, and that's how I looked at it. I was like, well, what's the play here? Because if he hadn't touched any of that stuff, and then he did it, because I believe he did something similar in his last term, right? He gave money to HBCUs, right?
I think so.
It probably went a little unnoticed because of how a lot of people were feeling about how he was running the country. But this time it's more of a red flag because it was like, well, if you feel that, this will be a help to HBCUs, which is obviously going to help out a lot of people in the African American culture, why that? But then you're trying to slash everything else that directly affect African Americans. We're not the first group affected, but we'll still be affected by it in some kind of way, right? So
yeah, that's why I would like.
That's why it was like a little confusing to me. Yeah.
I need to dive into that a little bit more to figure it out.
I seen one page post when he was actually doing the executive order in the Oval Office, right? And at the bottom of it, somebody had a poll on like if it's a smoke screen and this, that, and the other. And the majority of the percentage was like, nah, man, yeah, well, I ain't buying it. For me, I was just more like, man, I don't really know. I don't know.
It could be.
I know how I feel.
Right.
But I don't know.
That's exactly how I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, but I ain't gonna say. I don't want to get into saying I know things that I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, I compiled what we've been experiencing and what we've seen.
No, that makes sense.
And me, I'm looking at it like it's a contradiction. So I can't say your intentions are bad or you got something funny you doing in the background. Yeah. I'm like, you want to do this, but you don't want to accept this. That's confusing. So what's really going on here?
Following a logical
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure things out.
But you know what? This is why I like the internet, because somebody in the comment section is going to see this clip and they're going to educate us. They're going to say this was really happening. Yeah. We really getting y'all up out of here.
White power.
Yo, I used to do this thing where when I was at work, one of my coworkers, I'd be like, bro, every time the manager mentions something about Trump, I want you to go, woo, Trump. Every time you do that, I'll buy you some beer. But it only can be when he mentioned Trump. And bro, when he did it, I was crying. Cause
you forgot about it.
Huh? Yeah, I forgot. He said, yeah, our president. And I just heard somebody in the background, woo, Trump. Bro, I was crying. I was like, because at first I was like, did he just? Oh, it clicked. I was like, yo, this dude's stupid.
Nah, that's funny, man.
So yeah, man. But we gonna get up out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do what we do. Anyways, you've been tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building,
Farmer Poe.
And you've been listening to Outlawed Opinions. Let us know what you think about the Shannon Sharpe scandal. Let us know what you think about designer. Are you still going to buy some designer now that you know how expensive it isn't? And what's Trump up to, man? Do you think he really trying to help out HBCUs?
Are you going to negotiate prices when you go and buy that?
Yeah. Oh, and yo, what you think about Kanye, man? Do you think he can get any worse? Do you think he could reach any worse heights, or I'm sorry, lows, as far as what he's doing on the internet and what he's doing right now, man. The album marketing is crazy. Anyways, you know where to find us. Leave comments. Tap in with us. Until next time, peace.